Good morning, friends, and welcome back to another episode of our Cherubs and Cherries series. This is a journal series, and in today's video, we are going to be doing another step to our kind of junky, messy Cherubs and Cherries Valentine, Victorian Valentine-esque journal that I have here. Before we get started, make sure you hit that subscribe button, turn on that notification bell so you're notified whenever I post a new video, and let's get started. All right, so let's just go over a little review of what we've done in this journal so far. If you want to get caught up on this video, you can watch the previous two videos on how I put the pages together and how I did the front and back cover. Now, in today's video, we're going to be taking this front and back cover and book of pages that we made out of, these are all envelopes, junk mail envelopes that made the pages, and we're going to be actually binding this because we haven't put a binding on this yet. We're doing kind of a very messy, different style journal. I didn't want to do any hand stitching for this type of journal. I wanted to do a journal that was attached. Each page is actually attached to the next page. So as you can see here, we have a grouping of pages all attached on the spine, but we don't have anything to cover this up. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to make the spine for this. And like I said, if you want to get caught up to this point, go ahead and watch the previous two videos. I will link them in the description of this video. And then we can start from there. All right, so here is my journal, and I have a few pieces that I want to add to this cover. I have a really pretty vintage, it's kind of like a doily, I guess, that I found that has this pretty pink and green colored floral applique on it. I thought that would be really pretty to kind of incorporate some of the pinks and rose colors into this cover, since we did a blue cover on the front. On the back, as you can see, we used that vintage wallpaper print for the back cover. And then on the inside cover, I did fabric on this side, and there's actually fabric and a fold out on the inside back cover. Okay, so on the front cover, I had wanted to do another fold out or a little flip out, which is this little piece right here. I haven't really done anything to it other than I did use some glossy accents, which is this stuff right here, glossy accents, and I did that on the little image of the cherub on the front, and I only did that to give it a little more consistency. It almost looks like a little like glass plate on the front of that, which I thought was really nice. Just gives it a little extra dimension. So my plan was to have this flip out on the front cover, flip out like this, just like the flip out on the inside back cover does. It flips out like this. So I haven't attached this yet or anything, which I am going to do. But what I want to do first before I attach this is I want to attach my my actual spine, and I'm going to use this doily as a spine. So as you can see here, and also just, you know, I'm going to probably take this off. This project right here was the little love letters tag that I did. I attached that to the back of the book. As you can see on a little, this is a little fabric tab that I have. I'm going to take this off because it's kind of in my way and I don't want to be accidentally gluing it. But it is on a little safety pin, so you can attach it to any fabric area of a book. So I'll set that aside, but that's going to eventually go back on the back of the book. And also on the inside of the book, I have a bunch of little tags and pages and inserts that I haven't attached yet. So they're kind of just loosely put in there, but that's okay because I'm not going to really be working on that at the moment. I'm just going to work on the front and back cover with the spine. Okay, so my plan was to use this doily to wrap around the front and back of the the journal like such, and that's going to actually hold this whole thing kind of together. It is already together, but this will kind of finish it off and give it a little bit more structure. So I'm liking that, but I also have a few other elements that I was thinking about adding in to this because I want it to be very layered. I want it to be very kind of junky looking, kind of different than what I normally do. The whole purpose of this style journal was to kind of get out of my comfort zone. I tend to do very structured pieces when I put journals together, but this time I wanted to be a little bit more sloppy and creative with it. So what I was thinking is I have this fabric rose that I cut out from a larger piece of fabric. I was thinking about gluing this kind of on the front cover like such, with the leaves kind of poking out the edges just a little bit, and then wrapping my front cover. So I was just gonna play around with this a little bit just to see what I liked or how I liked it. And I'm thinking I don't wanna cover the rose too much, but I wanna cover it just enough. So I'm thinking something like that might be good, which yeah, I'm just gonna go for it. I'm not gonna think too much. I'm using my Fix glue, and we're gonna just go ahead and glue this fabric rose right down just like that. And again, Fix is great to glue fabric onto paper or paper to paper. It's an overall really good option for glue whenever you're journaling. It's probably one of my favorite glues. I have tried a few other things recently just to see how they work, but this is like overall probably the best all-around glue that I've found. All right, so again, we're gonna put that rose kind of like that, little pieces kind of sticking, little leaves sticking up from the top, out from the side, but I just wanted to kind of get that on there so it's ready to go. So then we'll have this spine, and then we'll have this little flip out like that. So when you open it up, you'll see more of the rose, but you can still see some of the rose poking out from the background. Okay, so next let's attach this doily. Now, as you can see, it's covering up a lot of the back. If I just use this small amount on the front, it's definitely covering a lot of the back. I don't know if I want to cover all of that back or not. So let's just flip it around and see what we can work with. What if we only covered about half of the back like this, and then made kind of a back pocket like that, which that might work. So I think that's what I'm gonna do. And again, I'm not gonna think too much about this. I just wanna make sure that whatever I do, I'm somewhat straight, because I'm gonna go ahead and cut this doily. So I'm thinking about here and here looks good to me. And I'm just gonna get some sharp scissors, and I'm just gonna eyeball it. I've got a kind of a good idea where I want it, so we're just cutting. Like I said, this whole project is not a lot of thinking involved. It's kind of more doing and just being creative with what happens when I do it. All right, so I think I like that a little bit better. This jagged edge is fine. I can cover that up with some lace or something, but we're gonna go back to the front and we're gonna work on the front here first. So I think I like that placement. I think that's good. So I'm gonna just leave it here, take my Fix, go around my edges with my Fix, and I'm also gonna go right down the edge of my book like that. And then we'll kind of see where we're at when I put this on. So we've got that over like that. Push that down into place. Hold that there for just a second. I want to just make sure everything kind of sets into place here before I glue anything else down. All right, now we'll flip it around And now, since I want to make kind of like a back pocket out of this, I want to glue these sides down, but I want to make sure when I glue it that it's taut, the fabric is taut, so that it's not like flapping like this. I want to make sure it's nice and tight. So I want to put the glue on the sides of the book instead. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put a little glue just on the sides of the book. And I'm also going to put a little glue right along the edge as well. Just like that. And then we will take our fabric, we'll pull it nice and tight and kind of hold it into that glue. Just gonna hold it there. You could use a clamp or something. I'm just gonna sit and hold it here with my fingers. Fabric-Fix usually attaches pretty quickly. So I'm just gonna, like I said, just hold it here for just a couple of seconds till it's really set. All right, so now I have my spine all glued into place. It's nice and sturdy, so it's holding it all together nicely now. And this back is a nice little pocket back here that I can stick something at some point. Now I want to start working on this little front flap that I have here. This is going to be kind of like our little front cover flap. It's going to open like this. Now, right now, I don't have anything on the back of this. This was just a piece of cardstock that came off of some packaging of some sort. As you can see, I did a little stitching around this just to kind of give it a little bit more finished look. I actually did stitching around the front and back cover as well with my sewing machine. So I want to cover this with something, and I was thinking what better use of this cherry cardstock. Since the theme is cherubs and cherries, I thought this would be beautiful. So I'm just going to take a piece that looks like it's going to fit the back of this front cover, and we'll just make a couple little marks. And then I'm just going to go ahead and cut this out. You can use scissors. I'm going to use my cutter. Just to make a couple quick little cuts here. I could tear it if I wanted to. Like I said, I'm not being too precise with measurements and all of that. I'm trying to work quickly and just do things kind of on the fly with this book. All right, so here's my piece. I think that will fit that cover pretty well, like that. Yeah, I like that. I might distress the edges a little bit, but I think I'll do that after I glue this down. So I'm just going to go ahead and glue this down with my Fabric-Fix. I could have used my new glue stick as well. I've been using the Oohoo glue sticks, which are permanent hold glue sticks, which I really like. It's these right here. I ordered a couple of them on Amazon. I will link them in the description below. They're actually really good, strong holding glue sticks. So I recommend these also for kind of quick projects. All right, so there's my cherries. Right. I might put something else on here so I can use this as some journaling space and kind of just use the cherries as like a framed background. But I also want to do a little distressing on this. So I've got my distress ink. You can't even see what it is. This is the frayed burlap. And I'm going to just distress this just a little bit on this side. It's a little too clean looking for me because I didn't tear it, so I just want to distress this a little bit. All right, that's pretty good. Set that aside. All right, so now we've got to figure out what we want to do for a hinge to attach this to this front cover. So I'm thinking some sort of either fabric or paper hinge. I could use a piece of this, a piece of this cardstock that I have and just make like a little paper hinge on the front, but I think I want to do maybe some fabric. So, I mean, originally I was thinking I would do something like this, like a doily of some sort, and attach the doily to it, and have the doily open and close it, which might be kind of cute, but it is a little on the bigger side. I don't know. Let me see what else I can find. All right, so I have a piece of this scrap fabric here. It's the right colors. It's got a lot of really pretty kind of mauvey pinks and some greens, which will work really well with the color scheme that I have going on here. So I'm thinking I'm just gonna attach some of this to this front cover, leaving a little flap and then gluing that little flap down just to make my little flip out here. So that's what I'm gonna do. Again, I'm not thinking too much. I just want to make sure that I'm putting the glue on the right side. So this is right side up. When I open it up, I'll need the glue here. So just make sure if you're doing something similar that you're not gluing to the wrong side. I have done stuff like that before and ruined a whole project. All right, so let's see. Let's do like about that. Just making sure I have enough to go on the other side. All right, so that looks good there. Let's cut off this little flap here. All right, so there is my flap, and then we're gonna glue this like that right to the side of my journal. So let's put some more glue on this little flap. And then we'll glue this little flap right down. And just make sure it's how you want it. And then push that down and let that set into place for a minute. I kind of like working in this style where you're not doing a whole lot of thinking, kind of working messily. I don't know, I kind of like not being confined to like boundaries with a project like this. It's good to get the creative juices flowing. All right, so now we have this nice little flap that will open and close like this, which I really like. I think that looks great. Okay, now we can continue adding to this. Now I have a few other little things that I wanted to add. I had made this little Cherubs and Cherries tag, and originally I had it just paper clipped to this, but I think I'm gonna glue this right in place. I think I wanna glue this kind of right to my little flip out here, because this is kind of like the title of this journal. All right, so I have my little tab glued onto my front flap. Now, I also have a few other little embellishments that I was thinking about adding. I have this little Cherries applique that's like a stitched applique. It's very cute. I have a pack of these. I am going to be including these in my Patreon member kits this month. As you can see, this is one of the kits that's going out to my Wicked Cool Crafting friends on Patreon. I added one on the front cover with a little vintage handkerchief and a bunch of other goodies. So this is just an example of one of the items that go out to my subscription members, or my Patreon subscription members, who get the second tier and higher level from Patreon. So I do have a bunch of those. So I wanted to use one, and I was thinking about putting it kind of on the front flap here, just for a little extra texture. And plus I felt like this little corner was kind of blank, kind of empty. So I'm gonna just go ahead and glue that on. Originally I was gonna use this little flower, but when I got these in the mail, I actually liked the look of those better. Plus it incorporates the cherries a little bit more. So that is what we're using. All right, so let's just attach this with some Fabrifix. All right. And I'm just gonna put it right in this front corner, just like that. So I'm trying to just layer a lot of fabrics and textures and colors just to give this a lot of depth and dimension, and a lot to look at when you're kind of flipping through it and using it. Okay, so now another thing that I wanted to do to this front cover, if you watch the previous video, you will see that when I was tearing this paper, I actually tore it a little short, and I have a little bit of this white seam down here that's showing through. Now I am gonna go with my distress ink and just cover up that white seam just a little bit, but I still wanna cover it a little bit more. So I'm gonna take a piece of lace, and I just have some scrap lace here, and I'm just gonna cover this up with another little strip of lace on the front cover as well, just to kind of cover that little white area so that it doesn't look, it is right on the front cover. So again, this is just a good use of scrap pieces. I'll just cut this off. I always save my little scrap pieces because I use them for that type of thing exactly. All right, so that again gives that another little layer, which I'm really loving this so far. I love all the different layers from the pages. All right, so now let's flip this over to the back, because here we have this back portion of our book, and we made this into a pocket. As you can see, these sides are glued down, so we can stick something in here if we wanted to, but I don't really like this cut. It's kind of unfinished looking. I don't know, I just don't like it. So I'm thinking about taking this piece of lace and just gluing it to the back pocket right there, which that's what I'm going to do now. And again, I haven't thought this out too much. I just knew that I wanted to cover this up with something. So that's what we're doing. I literally just went through my pile of scrap laces, and I'm like, you know what? This is gonna get used on the back. And it's like the perfect size. It's just about the perfect size. Actually, it is pretty much perfect. So just gonna glue that down. I just also wanna make sure that I'm not gluing the pocket down, because sometimes the glue will bleed through a little bit. So I'm just gonna kind of take another little piece of paper and stick it in that pocket, just so that I know that it's not glued down. All right, then if you remember on the back, I had my little tag here. This is actually my grandmother. I have a bunch of vintage photos that come in a digital that is in my Patreon for my Patreon members. And we made this little tag with her photo on it. So I want to attach this back to the back cover again. And this is just on a little safety pin, and I'm using a little fabric tab that I had put on, and we're just gonna go right through that little piece of fabric and attach that little tag, so that little tag sits on the back cover like that now. And we still have the pocket there, but I kind of just like that on the back cover. It gives the back cover something extra to look at as well. Okay, now I have a bunch of other little embellishments and little things that I want to do, but I also want to start attaching some of these little tags and things that we made in a previous video, because I kind of stuck them in the book, but I haven't officially attached them yet. So we have this one right here. This is another one of those little pockets that we made out of the Vintage Love Letters digital, and I just want to attach this pocket to the inside front cover. I'll put that on after. But I made this little pocket just out of a vintage book page, but I thought that this would be really cute just on the front cover. So we're gonna go ahead and attach this. And again, I'm not doing any other pockets with this, so I'm just gonna use my glue to go all around the entire book page. Again, I could use my Oohoo glue stick for this as well, but I have this out and at the ready, so I'm just gonna use this. And then we'll just kind of center that like that. Now we have a nice little pocket on my inside front cover. And we can put this little love letters photo right in there. All right, so we have another page right here. This has a pocket. This was a window from an envelope. So we can do something to embellish this up a little bit, this page. I have all these really pretty appliques that we could incorporate. I have a bunch of different ones. Have a little butterfly, some flowers. I don't know, I'm just trying to think of ways that I can just embellish this up just a little bit. I have this pretty, it was on a button, so I was thinking I might be able to put that in like the center of one of these little crocheted flowers, something like that. Not really sure what I want to do with this yet. Again, I don't want to think too much. Something like that might be pretty. That way you can still see the pocket and what goes in the pocket. I'll go back to that one. Let's just continue attaching these other things. All right, so this was a double-sided pocket that we made, and I did like a little quilting with scrap fabrics on the back of this. So I don't want to glue this down, but I want to be able to attach this somehow to this page. So I'm thinking maybe if I attach this with just a paper clip of some sort. So let's do a little paper clip with like a dangle on it. Okay, so I'm gonna take just a little paper clip. This is just a small paper clip, and I have a little piece of scrap ribbon here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to make a little loop in my ribbon. It's a little tiny loop. I'm gonna put it through the end of my paper clip. Then I'll open up that loop and I'll pull the tails through the loop. And then I'm gonna just pull it tight. So that way I have kind of like these little tails sticking out the end of my ribbon. And I don't want it too long. So let's just trim this off a little bit. We'll do a little fork in the edges, or in the end. So now I have like a little forked tail ribbon on the end of my paper clip. And then I also have these cute little cherry charms. I got these from Temu. I got a bag of them. So I thought those would be cute on this little paper clip. So I'm going to just take the little jump ring that's attached to this little cherry charm, and I'm just gonna open up that jump ring just a little bit, just slightly, just enough to go through the end of that paper clip, and then I'll clip it shut. So now I have this cute little paper clip with the little ribbon and cherry charms hanging off the end, and the charm won't bounce back and forth on the paper clip because that little ribbon is holding it in place. So now we have a cute little easy ribbon paper clip that we can just attach to hold this little pocket tag in place. And I can move it around the notebook wherever I want, or the journal wherever I want. I don't have to keep it there, but I thought that would be kind of just a nice addition to that page right there. Okay, so there's that one. As you can see, if you remember a previous project that I did, I made these paper clips in a previous DIY. This was from my Christmas cardinals and roses theme, and I thought it still worked well. The colors still work well with this journal, so I'm going to use one right in this journal. So I just attached that to one of the pockets that I have in here as well. Here's an empty pocket. This definitely needs something right here. This is very plain looking. So I mean, I could decorate it with something like that. I could put one of these on there. I feel like it needs some more color. Let me see if I have any more scrap fabric or something else that I could make work. Let's see, I have this. This was part of an old pillowcase. And I really like the colors of this. This is just some fabric that I have from an old vintage pillowcase. I could put something like that on the front, maybe. Or I could just use some ribbon, or I have, this is a hanky that I used. I used a piece of this hanky in something else. That might be really pretty there. That could be really pretty as well. So I'm just kind of going through my scrap items, just seeing what I have for scraps that I could possibly use. I have this handkerchief. This is a nice handkerchief that's got some hearts. It's a vintage Valentine heart handkerchief. I actually have a couple of them. I have this one too. Both of these are very cute, but they're in good condition, so I don't really want to cut those. But this one's already been cut because it had a tear in it. Why don't we use a piece of this? Let's use a piece of this. I'm just gonna cut a little piece off here. Just do a little tear in it. All right, so now we have this piece of vintage handkerchief that we can put on the front of that little pocket. And now we can maybe put something else on here as well to kind of just decorate it up a little bit more. I have this washi tape that might be cute. Some cherry washi tape. All right, well, let's glue this down first. Yeah, I'm just gonna glue that down. I'll take my Fabrifix and just do some random marks with Fabrifix. We'll glue this right down. Right. And let's see, we got this pretty flower here we could use. That's pretty also. They're kind of big though. Got another little piece of lace. We could do a little lace out the side. Oh, I like that. I like that. Like I said, I'm not gonna think too much. I'm gonna just act. Using up scraps. Put that little piece of lace on the side. Let's put this little applique on top of it. Like that. What else can I do? I think it needs even more color. Let's see what I have. Like I said, I do have this cherry washi tape, but I don't know. I could go across the bottom with some of this cherry washi tape. Too much? Yeah, I think that's too much. Too much. Let me look around for a few more other... Oh, actually, you know what? I have something right here that might work. I have these little flat glass pieces that have little floral... Those are kind of pretty. I have a few different ones. Let me see what I have here. That one's got some blue. That one might be pretty. This one has some blue in it. And I think it kind of pulls the blue from the other pages. So I'm gonna put that one on there. I'm actually gonna, yeah, I'll use Fabrifix for this as well. There's a paper backing on it and it's sitting on fabric, so we'll just use the Fabrifix. Hopefully that sticks. If it doesn't, I'll go in with some hot glue instead. Is that sticking? I did. I turned my hot glue on. You know what? I am going to use my hot glue. We'll put a little hot glue on this. There. Now we have double the glue, so we know it's going to stick. So yeah, I think that looks really pretty. All right, so the next page I have paper clipped in here is just another little pocket that I did with some of those vintage Valentine and photos from the Love Letters digital, and this was the back of a wallpaper border, so there's nothing on the back of this, so we're literally just going to glue this right down. Glue it right down to that page. So literally just going right around with my Fabrifix. And we'll glue this right down. Just like that. That's perfect. All right, I'm loving how this is turning out. Here's another page that I don't have much on. I could do a little butterfly on that one. I kind of like that butterfly, so let's just do the butterfly on that one. Again, you can add to this. I'm just using up some pieces that I pulled out, but I can always go back in and add other things as I go along. A lot of these pockets I'm gonna need to add tags for, or writing pages to. Here's another pocket that I did, and there's not a whole lot on that, but then we do have this little envelope on this side, so I wanna glue that down as well. So let's glue that down. So doing just a lot of gluing down things that I've pre-made for this journal. Just kind of getting things kind of placed and more permanent. And this is really cute because it opens up and it's a little envelope with a writing page and then a little vintage Valentine. That was really cute. I like adding little like kind of interactive pages and things to my pages just to kind of create like a variation of things going on. So there's a lot to look at. All right, these pages are very plain. There's nothing in here, which this could be writing. I could write on this. But this page just feels very plain to me. What if I put this little piece up top like that? So it kind of pokes out the top. I like that. I think I'm gonna do that. We'll just put some glue right there. And we'll stick that. Again, I'm not thinking too much. I'm just acting. Now this, I could put something in the center of that. That might be cute because that pulls some of the blues. So let's do that as well. I'm gonna do this with hot glue. Again, I'm just working kind of fast. I feel like when you work fast, your brain functions differently and you think differently about things. I have this lace piece, which we could glue this lace piece into this page. This was that other piece of the doily. I could do something like that. We have this, which I think this was a pocket. Wasn't this a pocket or no? Did we not make this a pocket? No, maybe this was just a window. Yeah, that was just a window. It wasn't a pocket. So we can do something on the front here. Maybe make like a tuck spot of some sort. Not really sure yet what I want to do there. I don't know. We're going to skip that for now. All right, now we have our last page with our last little flip out. This was a greeting card on our last page, and this was another one of our little tags that we made. So we're just going to go ahead and glue this down, but this is so plain. So we need to cover this up with something because this isn't big enough to cover that white background. So let's cover this up with something. I could use more of this. I could use more of this paper and we could cover it up with that. That kind of stays cohesive with what we did in the front because we have it in the front as well. We could use this on the back. I think I'm gonna do that. I think I am. And again, I'm just gonna mark it really quickly and just do some quick little cuts. So we've got that there. And then we've got this here. We'll take a cutter. And just make a quick cut. And we'll glue this down. All right, and I am going to distress this just like I did on the front a little bit. Let's distress this up just a little bit because the edges are a little too nice looking. There, just a little bit. Doesn't have to be perfect. All right, so now we have our cute little pocket here. This is the one that has the little belly band with another letter and the little back of a postcard. And we'll just glue this one right to the front of that. This one also is a pocket as well. So we want to make sure when we glue this down that we're not gluing this side pocket because there's stuff on the side as well that needs to come out. All right, so that looks good, just about like that. So there's our little pocket flap on the back of the book. All right, so this is coming together really nicely. Like I said, as you saw, there's still a few pages that we need to add some things to, but I'm really liking how this is turning out. I'll probably go ahead and work on this, finishing this up at a later time, but this gave you quite a few good ideas on how to put together kind of a junky journal like this one right here, and how to kind of use things that you make previously to incorporate them into other pages that you already have existing in a journal. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Again, if you didn't see the first 2 episodes in this series, I will link them in the description. You can go check those out. But yeah, hope you enjoyed. Have a great rest of your day, and we will see you again in the next video. Take care.